Right. Hello, everybody. I know that it's been a while, but yes, everything will be up soon, 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 soon. It's really just about internet working and like iMovie and Premiere working, and it's really all of these small digital things that aren't adding up at the moment. So everything should be up really, really soon. Again, for those of you that do not know, that are not following the blog, please, please do. It's the wordpress.com. And just so you guys know, the blog doesn't end here after these 10 days. There's still some pretty interesting stuff on there. Well, at least I hope it's interesting as I try to make it interesting. And yeah, so follow it, comment, yeah, please leave your mark, guys. Okay, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about social comparison theory. Hopefully it won't take too long. I'm going to try my best not to ramble. The reason why I'm doing social comparison theory is because what I've noticed over the last few days or so. So in the beginning, I was very, very conscious about people looking at me. But then I got used to it. I sort of got used to, okay, people are going to look, whatever. So then what started to really get to me and to really make me uncomfortable and very, very self-conscious was not people looking at me, but me looking at other people. So let's say I would be perfectly happy throughout the day with the appearance and the birthmark and hair and everything was great, feeling fantastic. Well, not fantastic, but suppose feeling relatively content. And then I would help a customer at the store, or I would walk past someone who just so happened to be so stunning. Such a stunning, gorgeous, beautiful lady. You know, makeup, hair, even if they didn't have makeup, or if they were just so beautiful to me. And then I started to feel uncomfortable. Because then I started to make these comparisons, and then it was all like, great, back to square one. You know, I was starting to feel relatively comfortable in this, and now it's all like, yeah. And a lot of people think, or they assume that, let's say, women dress up or they put makeup on or whatever for men. I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 times that's not the case. We as women dress up for ourselves to feel comfortable with ourselves, but also it's not for men. It's really not. It's for ourselves, and I suppose subconsciously, unfortunately, it's for other women in the sense of how do I explain it? It's not to attract the opposite sex or whatever the sex is that you are attracted to. It's not like I dress up in order for them. I dress up and I look presentable or whatever for myself. But what's going to make me uncomfortable, it's not going to make me uncomfortable if guys or girls don't look at me, or if they're like, ugh. That's not going to make me uncomfortable at all. Because I suppose, contradictory to popular belief, it's not all about getting the guy or getting the girl or whatever. It's not like we wake up at 5 every morning and do our hair and makeup in order to look good for the opposite sex. It's a myth. Some people do, and I have a lot of sympathy for these women, but majority, it's not the case. I suppose, not. So it's not the opposite sex not giving you the attention that's going to upset you. It's the same sex, or the sex that you relate to the most, and therefore that you compete with, because they're in your category. You know, unfortunately, everything is just put in categories. So I feel like it's the only way that the mind can really comprehend things, which is very unfortunate. We are quite simple-minded creatures. Yeah, so as I'm trying to say, it's not the opposite sex or the sex that you're attracted to that's going to make you uncomfortable. It's the sex that you compete with. It's the sex that you relate to more. So therefore, that is the sex that is your competition or that is your threat. And lots of these, because I believe that this is all subconscious and it's not intentional. We really don't go out like, oh, she's such a bitch. She looks so much prettier than I do. We don't. No, okay, well, I don't do that, and I haven't met anyone that does, and I really hope that no one does do that. So yeah, so that's where social comparison comes in. I'm going to quickly give you a definition. There are quite a few, okay? But this is from Festinger from 1954, which is a very, very long time ago. Okay. Individuals establish personal identity through making comparisons to others who possess specific valued attributes. Okay. So I don't know if I spoke to you guys about the Identity Project. Okay. The Identity Project is it's a theory where, okay, so the body is seen as, it's not just seen as this host. It's not just seen as this like physical thing that, you know, we walk around in, this skin that covers us. It is seen as an opportunity for self-expression. So, for instance, small things like piercings or tattoos or dyeing your hair, that's all a part of your self-expression. That's all about people who you are and what you like. And even though I liked being blonde 2 weeks ago, I don't like being blonde anymore, and that's okay. It's all about self-expression. So Identity Project is, it's like your identity being a class assignment or a creative arts assignment that you get to work on every single day. And you can leave it for a few days, you can change it every hour, you can change it every day, but it's your project. It's your personal project that is yours alone and that you own. I will give the name of the person whose theory that is. I've written about him about 3 times. I based my exam on him, and for the life of me, I cannot remember his name. Sorry about that. So I will add that. So with this Identity Project, we are now using our body and our appearance in more ways than we ever did before. Even though the Identity Project it's nothing new. It started off as a very cultural thing. A long ago. Identity Project. Okay, so while we are busy building up this identity, the media gives us this ideal identity in order to get to, and this is what's desired, and this is what's beautiful or whatever. But on the way, we do meet different little attributes that we individually find desirable or valued or worthy. And we find these in individuals. They might be our best friend, or they could be that model that you saw on TV last month. It could be your sibling. It could be anyone who has this thing that has these attributes, this appearance, this body, this intellect that you want for yourself. And that is social comparison. So you get 3 types of social comparison. So you have upward comparison. So that is comparing yourself to someone who is better than you, in a sense. So let's say if I compare myself to Cara Delevingne, okay, that's an upward comparison because I suppose in the terms of the ideal package, she's up there, she's got it, whereas I don't, okay. Second one being sibling comparison. So unfortunately, this is something that you see every day if you do have siblings, and especially growing up. For instance, my sister and I mean, we are so different, but for a very, very long time, I compared myself to her. Even though we have different body types, we have different appetites. We are we have different builds. And for a very, very long time I compared myself to her, and it just sucks, and it's very unfortunate because you're confronted by this comparison every single day. You might go to school or to varsity, but you come home and it's still there. Or even if it's intelligence or marks or sport or achievements, it's constantly there, and it's unfortunately it's something that we just need to grow out of. Okay, and then the last one is inappropriate comparison, which I feel we all do very, very, very often because a lot of us don't think that it's inappropriate. Okay, for instance, if I love ballet, I am a huge, huge fan of ballet. So let's say if I go and I watch Swan Lake, okay, and I look at these dances and I'm like, oh, okay, I do this. I'm like, I want to be you. You're so beautiful and talented. Okay, I do that. I really do. So it's not like this is hypothetical. But people, so let's say I'm like, I want a dancer's body. I want that specific, that one in the front. I want her body. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to get it. I'm going to diet. I'm going to do this or whatever. But people need to understand that that's her profession. It's her job. She dances like, okay, I don't know, 3 hours a day, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week. It's her job. It's a full-time job. Her body is her job, if that makes sense. And chances are, she's been doing this since she was very, very young, and it's her entire lifestyle. If I had to do what she did in order to get her body or her appearance, I wouldn't be able to, because my life does not allow that lifestyle. Therefore, it's inappropriate. So, also, even watching athletes, their lives, they train for years and years and years for this. And if you train for years and years and years and years, you will look like that too. But chances are your life will not allow it. Okay. And because we are comparing ourselves with the ideal selves, or even if it's not the media ideal, it's our ideal, what we find beautiful, what we find attractive or valued. And so that's what we're going to compare ourselves to. This creates this discrepancy between like mind and soul, and how you view others and how you view yourself and how that affects your self-esteem. Because so from the social comparison theory comes the sorry, I had it. So then it's self-ideal discrepancy, which is what I just explained. So it's your self, your natural self, and your ideal self. So when that doesn't match, or even if I mean, I don't think it'll match for a lot of people, but if it's close, it's cool, it's fine. But if it's so far apart, that it's this constant conflict against each other, it's gonna be a problem. And that's when seeing like the side effects or the consequences, or let's say the results of like a really, really far self-ideal discrepancy. That's your depression, your eating disorders, your anxiety, your stress. It's a huge problem on our psyche, and can become a huge problem for our bodies as well, physically. Yeah, so that's just it's a bit of theory, and just think about it. So next time, if you do make a subconscious comparison, just be like, wait, this is either inappropriate, so it doesn't relate to me at all. So I feel like once we can make that click between what is reality and what isn't, and what relates to us and what is just there to enjoy, I feel like that will really make a difference. Because with this social comparison theory comes a cultivation theory as well. And the cultivation theory is that the media, like, it influences everything. So from the media, we adapt our culture, we adapt our ideals, our social patterns, and all those things. So once we can disconnect, see the line between what is real and what isn't, and what relates to us as individuals, not us as humans, what relates to me, what relates to you, once we can figure that out, and once we can put it in almost like a logical, like, okay, cool, this is me, this is that, okay, that's not really gonna work. I feel like it'll really save a lot of us in the terms of our health, physical and mental, and also emotional. Guys, depression is no joke, anxiety is no joke, eating disorders, it's no joke. So once, as I said, I feel like the goal here is to just figure out who we are and where we stand and how that differs from what the media tells us. All right. Auf Wiedersehen.